Shame. I don't even want to talk about it, but we've got to talk about it. It's just bleh. It's yucky. It's bleh. I don't like it. And so, as we start this very much more professional, contained conversation on shame, I do want to pray for our listeners from Psalm 34:5, that those who look to him are radiant with joy, and not even a shadow of shame will cover their faces. Mm-hmm. So as we enter into this conversation on shame, that even as we were praying just before, I could feel it, like, oh, it's in my gut and it's really heavy.
Yeah.
I wonder if you're feeling that too. So I pray that you sense his light radiating on you, and that not even a shadow of shame will cross your face.
Amen.
Because everybody has experienced shame. This is common for all of us. But in order to break free from unwanted sexual behavior, or to begin healing from the trauma of betrayal, it is important to know that shame is not forever. It is a momentary event that can make you feel really bad, but it is not meant for forever.
That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you feel a relief even with that?
Yeah. Because shame wants to make you feel like this is you for forever. So that's what we're going to really try to get at today.
Yeah, we've had some really good teaching from Kat Etherington, who was
that
shared,
flattened me.
who was on our podcast previously. And so a lot of what you hear today will be from some of the sources that she pulled from. But I think, it's helpful. Let's define shame.
Yeah,
and
start there.
Merriam-Webster, the definition of shame is a painful emotion caused by consciousness of guilt, shortcoming, or impropriety. Now, all of that just sounds like that's all heavy stuff right there. And so I'm sure everybody listening can go, oh, yep, I know that. Or maybe somebody is going, oh, is that what that is?
Right. Or somebody else's impropriety.
Yes, for sure. And that's interesting too. And I know we're going to get to that. But one of the things that we were given was to kind of identify shame. There are types of shame. There is trait shame and there is state shame.
So helpful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This was so helpful for me.
Okay, get ready. Go.
Yeah. So state shame is the acute, in the moment experience of shame, the feeling of shame, right? But trait shame is the chronic underlying sense of shame that makes up a person's sense of self and identity. So we're talking about, hey, I could have state shame where, wow, this thing happened. I feel some shame around it. I can process it, shake it off, and go. But then if I have trait shame, now I'm bad. There's something wrong with me. So that gets to the core of your identity and who you are.
Yes, I thought even Kat kind of threw out like a state shame example, like when you're walking and you trip on the curb and you stumble or you just feel awkward because you had heels and a skirt on and you just feel shame. But that is state shame, right? Like, yeah, it's something you did, you felt it. It's situational. It can spike, it can recede. And I just thought that was helpful. But the trait shame is so much sneaky and nasty. And it really, it can show up as hiding and overperforming and I'm bad. And I just think it's so helpful to kind of like pull out these two differences.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that was helpful was to understand that shame has a purpose, right? It has a purpose. You feel the shame because now you have to, especially with traits shame, right? There, you can't let people in and know. So now you have to present yourself in a certain way, right? Because people can't know you because of your shame, right? So there's a purpose in the shame, and that your shame is an effort for you to stay attached, to keep relationships, which feels a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because there's something about, you know, we were just talking about Genesis earlier, right? Adam and Eve felt shame, they hid, right? Want to pull away, but there's something within the shame that goes, but I've got to maintain relationships. So how do I hide this stuff so that I can maintain my relationships?
Right.
Yeah, I just go back to the trip, like tripping on the curb, because state shame, you said that perfectly. And then trait shame would be if I tripped on the curb with trait shame, I'm an idiot. And then maybe I'm not going to go in to this place that I was heading into.
Right.
Or maybe I'm going to go in and just be real quiet because I'm an idiot. Like it really takes over you internally instead of the state shame that you can kind of cut off. So, but it has a purpose. I still I don't like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it is hard when you think about like the depth of the trait shame, because it's often formed early, right, through family or trauma or relational wounds. You know, it's thick. It is thick and dark. And so no wonder it's like, I don't know how I'm going to fully show up with people, right? And you project like happy or joyful or productive or, you know, educated, you know, and boy, that is just too hard to keep up.
It is emotionally draining, it's physically draining, because at some point you can't. You will have a breaking point at some place in time. You're going to have a breaking point because it is hard to try to maintain a persona that's not really you. And the Lord doesn't want you to maintain a persona that's not you, right?
But it's loud. It is loud.
Yeah. And there's the idea of the safety, right? Of I have to, because maybe this keeps me safe. There's a part of this that keeps me safe. It keeps me from maybe entering into painful relationships. Maybe it keeps me from acknowledging the pain that was brought on by my spouse, right? And to know that in both of these instances, this shame keeps you from entering into the healing process. Like if you're a woman who is struggling with unwanted sexual behavior, shame is going to keep you in the cycle, because you'll get to a place where you go, okay, I'm tired of myself. I don't want anybody to know about this because this is a really shameful thing. And you go along and you're not letting anyone else into the process. And you're going along, something happens, there's a fracture in a relationship, you lost your job, whatever it is, then you're going to you drive to what things make you feel better. So whatever your unwanted sexual behavior is, and then you feel the shame because you gave in, and then you go, well, you know what? I'm going to try again. And shame just wants to keep you in that cycle, because nowhere in that cycle have you invited anybody in. Right? And I'm sure it's the same for a woman who has experienced betrayal.
Right. I mean, she feels like she's been left. I mean, like her husband picked pornography or another person. So I have proof here. I was left. And then it just says, it just spirals down to, I wasn't enough. I couldn't be enough. I didn't have this like they have. I mean, and so shame just loves like to make that truth for them.
Mm.
And it pushes you so far away from God, right? Because
Yeah.
because again, that's a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and you want to hide from God the things that you think are shameful.
Mm-hmm. Right. Or feelings about yourself that are so heavy and dark and right. I can't tell you this, right? I can't name this feeling.
And sometimes shame becomes the thing we're attached to because it's predictable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in an instance where there's been a betrayal, at least shame is predictable. I know what this feels like. In an unwanted sexual behavior, the cycle of addiction, I'm familiar with it. I'm comfortable because this is what I've known. So it becomes this awful crutch that, like, I'm feeling like I'm imagining myself holding the crutch, and the crutch is shame.
Mm-hmm.
And people come, and I just like lift it up, like, stay away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got this. I've got this in my hand. I can control this. I know what I'm leaning
Mm-hmm.
on, right?
And your words are kind of like, they just, like, let's say you don't really share like the deeper things to somebody, you just share just like how you're doing, like, I'm doing pretty good, or and then someone has like a way to like try to buoy you, and it's just never, it doesn't hit it, like it just doesn't hit in the depth of what you feel is true.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the other just yucky thing about shame, because it does feel true, right? It feels like that's the truth. This is who I am, and this is who I will always be. You start to project that you'll never be anybody different. And so, I think you said it earlier, like the voice of shame is the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, God wants to make his voice so much louder than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've talked about this on this podcast before, but like, if you just can grasp the shame of what the prodigal son must have felt coming back home, and yet he was willing to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this opportunity to experience the shame breaker,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That he could come back and have love lavished on him. And that's what God desires for people who are really feeling shame. He never intended for us to experience this at all.
No.
But that hug from his dad, like, no matter what you did while you were gone, you're my son, and here is this hug of love.
Mm-hmm. Can I do a little front of the Bible, back of the Bible? Because to me, do I have my, yes. I have my glasses. Genesis 2:25. Both the man and his wife were naked, yet they felt no shame. This was the original design, right? They were exposed. They were enjoying the garden, had free movement throughout this garden, and they felt no shame. And then just a few sentences down after the fall in Genesis 3, we know that they felt shame and that they hid. Their shame pushed them away.
Mm-hmm.
They distanced themselves from God. And yet, how did God respond? And we're going to get to this because you've both said it several times already, but the Father asked questions. Where are you? He engaged with them.
Mm-hmm.
He engaged with them, full stop. God the Father, creator of all of this loveliness, and the fact that he said, just don't eat from this. His creation, his most precious, prized creation, did what he said, please don't do. And he didn't discard them. He didn't blow them up. He engaged them. He sought them out, and he asked questions. And then provided a covering for them out of animal skins. He sent them out. There's a consequence.
Yeah.
But he sent them out with a covering for their shame. And then there's Jesus. He sends his only son to be the covering for our sin.
Mhm.
And Hebrews 12:2 says, Jesus, the source and perfecter of our faith, for the joy that lay before him, he endured the cross, despising not the lust, not the body, not the decision, not the addiction, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God.
Mhm.
This statement, this Bible
Mhm.
is a statement on God's idea of shame. And we have, I feel it in my tummy.
Mhm.
We have gone through the trait shame, the state shame, the sources of shame, the borrowed shame, even. What do we do with it
Yeah,
as
what do we do?
believers?
Yeah.
There are lots of scriptures that we can say. I just read some,
Mhm.
and the whole Bible's filled with them. What can we do? What can we say? We don't want to be alone,
Right.
I think is step one, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. What brave step can you take to invite one person into
Mhm.
your shame? There's a couple quotes here from Kirk Thompson, I think, that are so good. And these are from his book, The Soul of Shame. And he said, to combat shame is not merely to wrestle against something we detest. It is to do the very thing that provides the necessary space for each of us to live like God, become like Jesus, and to grow up to be who we were born to be.
Mhm.
Shame is not something we fix in the privacy of our mental processes. Evil would love for us to believe that to be so. We combat it within the context of conversation, prayer, and other communal embodied actions.
Communal.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you need the people.
Mhm.
The people asking, where are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you? Why? What are you covering?
Mm-hmm.
It's very
What are you covering up?
Mhm.
You know, what are you keeping? What are you keeping in?
Mhm.
Right? Like, if you could tell me one thing that you're struggling with, you know, tell me. You know,
Mhm.
and then you usually hear, excuse me, you kind of hear back like, I have felt that too.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You hear
Yeah.
that?
Mm-hmm.
You hear thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that with
Mhm.
me. You get to receive the love of Jesus from another
Yeah.
person, through another person, right?
Right. I'm so sorry you feel
Yeah.
that way. Right.
Mhm.
And I hope that our listeners have safe people, because we know that not all the people are safe. You know, if you don't have people who can't encourage you in that way, find somebody.
Yes.
Come contact us here at Regeneration, coach with us,
Mhm.
because we want to be a safe place for you as well. But you should have safe people in your life that you can open up to and share and know that you're going to get the love of Jesus returned to you.
Mhm.
I love words, and words are very powerful for me. And there is neuroscience behind physically writing your
Mhm.
words. But sometimes if it feels too brave to say the thing, if you can write a letter to your shame,
Yes.
like I don't know that I want you anymore.
Mm.
I don't know that I want you running in my veins anymore, or physically tripping me up. And write the letter and then have somebody read it in front of
Mhm.
you and have that response of, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Or this was so good.
Mhm.
Good job.
Mm.
It's a way not to, like, typical Andre would be like, let's kick the crutch out of the way, but let's not do that. Sometimes you just need to look at the crutch and be like, it served a purpose
Yes.
for a time.
Yeah.
And now I might be
Mhm.
willing to put you down.
And you can acknowledge, right, the purpose. You can
Mhm.
acknowledge it. You can even talk about the scariness of not having it anymore,
Mhm.
right? Because sometimes when you've had an injury and you had to use a crutch, and then it's time to put the crutch down, you're like, "Ooh, wait, I don't know. I think I might still need the crutch," right? You don't want to put your whole weight down on it, and you can feel free to say that,
Mhm.
to know that it did serve a purpose for me, and you might even feel like it worked well, uh, but I think there's a way that it will be even better.
Mm-hmm.
A lighter way.
Yeah.
I even like for, women who are listening that have been just betrayed by their most sacred, partner there's this phrase like redirect the arrow. And, what I'm going to, just share kind of an activity you could do is just in like 2 columns. In one, like what I tell myself because of what happened to me. Like listen to like what you're telling yourself because of your spouse's betrayal. Then what does this actually say about him? What has he done to me? Like redirect the arrow. Not to like condemn him, but actually like his actions is making me feel stupid, less than, ugly, not picked. Like, wait a minute, he did actually have actions probably that started well before you, and try to turn it away from you. And also please, come share that feeling with one of us or a good friend.
I love that activity. That's great. It's making me think of attachment. Just to be seen, soothed, safe, and secure. I'm gonna mess up his name, but I think it's Michael John Cusick, who talks about sacred attachment. When we've attached ourselves to shame, what would it look like to redirect the arrow, even to be like, God, how do you see me? How can you soothe me? How can you make me feel secure? How can you make me feel safe? And give me eyes to see it, a body to feel it, a heart to know it, because God wants that with us.
When you shared those scriptures, Andrea, they felt powerful to me, like hearing them. And Jesus was the central, like, for our shame on him. Jesus is
it makes me teary.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There's a place for it to go.
Yeah.
And he did all of the work of despising it, right? We don't have to hold in, like Kirk Thompson said here, just to wrestle with it and detest it and go, ugh, and hope that that's going to be the thing. But Jesus already did all that.
Yeah.
All he's saying is just, hey, hand it over. I got it.
Yeah. Name it.
And think about the freedom that you can experience if you could let it go.
Yeah.
How might your life right now today be different if you can let it go? What might you enter into that you haven't before because you just felt so much shame? What communities might you be more a part of because you felt a lot of shame? What are the just even the individual relationships that you wanted to have and don't because you just feel like I don't want anybody to know me, really.
Trait shame is something that for sure I have done a lot of work on for myself. And like even just as we were talking, I could feel my physical body. So I wonder if our listeners, like if your feet are up on your toes and your legs are tense, or that your shoulders are up really high. For me, my tongue goes and presses against the roof of my mouth really hard. And so I have to relax my tongue. And that's just something that shame like shows up in a really tense way. So if you are feeling that, I wonder if shame is something that you are experiencing and don't know it yet. So relax your shoulders and relax your tongue and let your heels hit the ground.
Yeah, stretch your body out, shake out, whatever, because we know this is a heavy subject. And so it might stir something up within you as you listen. But hopefully what you also can hear is that there is freedom there. There's this invitation to freedom. And how might you go after it?
And go after it.
Yes, please. Because you're worth so much. Especially if you've got this heavy, dark cloak on you.
Mhm.
Let's get that off, and you're lighter.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and if you've been in contexts where you feel like, oh, but I'm a good Christian woman and I need to just get over it, or I shouldn't be here. I should be further down the road.
Mm.
Like, I hope you can just push all of that aside. There's another quote that I saw by a guy who is he's a spiritual director. His name is Dale Gish. And he says, God doesn't meet you where you wish you could be or where you think you ought to be. No, God meets you with great love exactly where you are.
Thanks, Kyle.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to go cry now. Happy tears.
Yes. Yeah, that feels like really a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
For the joy set before him,
Mm-hmm.
he endured the cross, not despising you, not despising what you've done or what anybody's done to you, but despising the shame that wants to hold you down. He despises it.
Mm-hmm.
Let him wrestle it. Let him take it to the grave. And let his light radiate on you, all around you, right where you are.